Who is Dick Devellian? He's the guy you hope you park next to at the race. He's the guy you consider yourself lucky if you get a chance to strike up a conversation with him at the starting line. Most of all, he's the guy you'd want to sit next to when we're eating after the race. April 22nd, Dick was kind enough to have me into his beautiful home for an interview. I was running late. He and his wife Claire were going out to dinner with family. But 30 seconds after shaking his hand, I sensed that none of that mattered to Dick. Cool, calm, and collected, it was easy to strike up a conversation with Dick. Dick's influence and impact on the race over the years is non-paralleled. We started talking shop, and then we got to the Hillclimb. 30 of these folks. He's 78, he's on his second set of knees, and he's doing the race again. Who is Dick Devellian? He's the person you hope you are most like when you're 78. I do want to take a second and just point out, Scorsese, I am not. I mean, we can easily point out to, hey, Jotham, you're not in the frame. Jotham, you are sitting next to the microphone, not Dick. So please bear with me. You'll take a look at that, and you'll also see that how giddy I was, nodding and just sucking up everything this guy had to say. It was a really great experience. Again, definitely talk to the guy if you get a chance to at the race. Here's the interview. A lot of social media, and really reaching out as well to the cycling clubs. Just like you sent me the logo the other day, which I appreciate. And that's been a great response as well, because I feel strongly, I mean, this race is really built on cycling clubs and then the other people that
this is one of the early things I did. I sent stuff to I got a list of all the bicycle clubs and stuff like that, so I sent, material out. And, old stuff, I sent out newsletters. There wasn't so much internet activity at that time. And then I advertised in the bicycle magazines. And so that's how, the board was I was basically running it, pretty much alone, and spending the money and not listening to the board. The board was getting quite nervous, but because I was spending, more, went past. And I don't know if I really had a budget or not. And I said, well, you have to spend money. It wasn't, at that time when I came aboard, it was, I think they had 200 people going up, and they were losing money on it because they were only charging $30, and there was no meal. I mean, there was a bunch of things. There were no medals, no a lot of stuff. So I did a lot of promotions, and that worked. Then I got professionals to come and had a prize to break the record, all that stuff. Bought an insurance policy. You were able to get an insurance policy because the record hadn't been broken in 19 years. This guy, Dale Stetner, was the last pro to race in it. And he held the record. And since then, no pros had really come. So the insurance company wanted to know, when was the last time it was broken, whether this and that. They actually sent a policeman up there too to make sure this was a real race. Because it was a $30-something thousand prize. It was an automobile, and I think the first insurance, the first time we did it, was only $2,000 or $3,000 for the premium. So we got the automobile company to sponsor that, and so 3 pros came, and Tyler Hamilton. I knew him. He was in my club there, the CCB. So he came. He broke the record, and the other 2 broke the record. All 3 broke the record, but Tyler won the race, so he was the only one. So he won the prize. So that got a lot of publicity. Right? That's another thing you might try. By the way. You can get. In fact, I was trying to get some professionals from Europe. There was this Italian guy that was sort of the best in the world, best climber in the world. He won the Tour de France and the Tour d'Italie. And I was talking to his director sportif, back and forth, and they wanted money, for him to come and race in it. And I thought I'd get the Italian American Club to pay for it, for that to come. But so it was going to happen, except he got bagged for doping.
Oh, oh, jeez.
And so he was one of the early guys that got caught, and so that he went out of touch for a while. And,
do you see that as having an effect on cycling in general?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's really changed. I mean, there was a lot of drugs being used, and pretty much everybody, as far as we can tell, everybody was doing something at that time. And you know, all these early years in the Hillclimb, and there have been a few pros that have been through here that you know, that were, some of them got busted afterwards. You know, that Genevieve, I don't know, do you remember her?
Names come up quite a bit.
Something. She was Canadian, and she was a young girl, and she won. And I think at that time, I think we had a prize for the woman, as well as you know, the best women's record and men's record, and she won. She was only she wasn't old enough to drive, and she won, and she made quite a name for herself, beating everybody, and but she got caught for anyway. So, but I think it's probably the most tested sport there is now, and it'd be pretty difficult to do any heavy duty drugs now. But you know, if there's a way they think they can not get caught, it's pretty much, I think, being used in a lot of sports. You know,
well, do you think when you look at changes, you know, when you started the race and you continue to do the race now, what do you take a look at the technology that's changed? I mean, what if you look at it from a technological standpoint? What do you feel has probably helped hill climbers more in the aspect of technology?
I think the technology part is, you know, the bike, you know, a lighter bike, you know, a few pounds lighter than they were then, is a small part of the whole thing. You know, the speeds, you know, I think if you look, you'll see the records and the speeds, everybody is really dramatically higher. Much better climbers are coming. I mean, when I was in my 40s and 50s years old, you know, I would win sometimes. You know, I'd win, come in second, third, and I broke the record for a while. You know, the record at that age. I mean, now at that same time that I was able to do then, you know, I'd come near the end now. You know, so the quality of the riders has increased a lot. Better riders come. And I don't know whether all riders are just getting better, or are the more elite riders coming to this race. I'm not sure. Maybe a little of both. But certainly the times are getting much faster. Way faster.
Well, you mentioned this race. Now, certainly the Hillclimb, you know, it was in Velo News. It was in Bucket List. It was then Velo News Ride of a Lifetime. There's another organization, PGM Cycling. They're a different club. On their website, they ranked the 100 hill climbs, and we're number 3. We lose out to a couple hill climbs in Hawaii.
Really, I'm surprised, because at the time, one of the things I was really promoting, because I think the people that come to this race, and I mean, they're obsessive. I mean, they're not normal people that go to come to this race. They're really obsessive riders. And they want to do the hardest thing around. And if you've been demoted to number 3, that may be why you're not filling it up. What I used to promote, and I looked it up, and it still may be true. I looked up all the professional races in the world, you know, all around the world, that the, you know, Tour de France guys, the pros ride in. And I couldn't find a race that was as steep for as long. There are steeper sections of races in the pro circuit. And there are longer hill climbs. But I couldn't find one that is as steep for as long. So I was promoting it as the toughest hill climb in the world. And I asked Tyler Hamilton what he thought of the hill climb compared to, you know, he's been to pro races. He said this is the hardest. So I think because of the people that want to come, they want to do the hardest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're crazy.
Yeah. Yes. They have
They
to
want
be.
to hurt. I mean, so if it's, you're not going to get the mom and pop, people that go for, a nice ride, Sunday
Sure.
afternoon ride. So these people want to do something that's exceptional. So if you can, and it still may be true that you may say this is the hardest hill climb
Oh,
in the
yeah,
world, no
we
matter
still
what
do.
that book said.
Yeah.
Because and I put it out on the internet. I asked, I just put it out there. There was some King of the Mountain website that I don't know if it's still up. It used to be, and they used to put all the hill climbs of the world in there, and all the people that like to climb hills would go on that site. And I asked the question.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a response that said there was another hill climb that was as steep for that long.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you can use that and say, and go back to saying, if you don't keep saying it, maybe
Oh,
you
yeah.
do anyway,
Yeah.
toughest hill climb in the world. And I think you can justify it by that fact.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. How do you prepare for something like that?
Well,
What do you do? What do you? You ride a lot. Well, yeah, but the course is it's only open twice a year, so
Yeah, no, you don't have to do something as steep as long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to do some climbs.
Yeah.
And you can make it as hard as you want by what gear you're in. It doesn't have to be as long as that. I mean, people that run marathons aren't running marathons every day.
No,
I mean,
certainly.
they're doing different things. So you can do, I mean, the typical thing, you can look in a book on how to climb hills. You do hill repeats, but only maybe a mile at a time. I never trained specifically for the hill climb. I mean, just living here, there's a lot of hills.
Yes. Yeah.
And I took a lot of vacations. Wasn't really to do the hill climb, but a lot of vacations in France and so forth. And watch the Tour de France, and we'd always go to the Pyrenees or the Alps and do these long climbs and stuff. But I like to climb. I wasn't necessarily a very good hill climber.
Yeah.
Still not. That's not my strength. But I just enjoy doing it. And this is right around the corner. And
Yeah, it's right up the road.
right up the road. Actually, I started doing it before I moved up here, but I used to come up weekends and so forth. But there's a lot of standard things if you look at a bicycling book about how to train for hills, and they're not all the same. You look at one book, it says one thing. You look at another book, it says something else. But if you climbing up hills is probably a good thing to do.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do the hill climb.
Yeah.
It's it's depending. The fast guys do it in under an hour, and the other end is maybe up to 3 hours or something like that. So there's a big spread. That's and most people that do any amount of riding can probably make it up there.
Yeah.
They may be slow.
Yeah.
But they can make it.
Yeah.
But the people that do it, in anything under an hour and a half, I mean, they're really good bicyclists.
Can you talk me through the race a little bit? Like you can get let's break it into your first third. What is the first third?
The first
like?
third is actually almost the hardest. It's steep.
Really?
Actually. If you look at the statistics
Yeah.
of the mountain, the first couple of miles are actually steeper.
Oh boy.
But yeah, it is, yeah. And that's a known fact. Someplace
Okay.
That's it's pretty steady climb. Not like most. There aren't very many places to take a break. There's the cow pasture up, just before the top. That's what I say. So that's the only section that goes on for a little while. That's. But you're pretty tired when you get there. Right? But you really you're near the top, and so you get another squirt of adrenaline. So
I'm trying to think. If I ballpark, the race in and of itself is about 7 miles.
yes.
So the first third, let's say by mile 3, are you starting to emerge out of?
Yeah, like halfway. There's the halfway place,
Yeah.
and that's when the sort of the trees disappear.
Yeah.
So they got the weather thing up there, and sometimes in fact, quite often, you're out of the wind down there.
Yeah.
And and you're hot.
Yeah.
You can. Quite a few people overdress.
Yeah.
Because the big part, it's early in the morning, and that time of year it's cold. It's cold in the morning, and you're trying to warm up. So people put, unless you've done it a lot of times, you got too many clothes when you start up. So they're, and you're not in the wind yet. So the first part, up until really halfway, you're protected, and you don't feel the wind. And then all of a sudden, the trees disappear. You're into the scrub, and then they disappear altogether. And then if there's any wind, which there usually is, that could be, a major thing in the race. The wind. Last year I got blown off. Actually went off into the rocks and, banged my head and stuff. I was lucky. It was foggy and wet, and there was nobody around because I'm way at the end. And if I got knocked out, I could have died down there.
Oh my word!
Get hypothermia.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have taken long because I was in the wind and the wet.
Yeah.
And fog, and so, but I was fine. I went off the road. I was near the edge in a gust. First time I got blown down. But that's happened to people. The gusts come and then anyways, I went right off the road into the big rocks up
Holy
at the
cow.
top. And but I was okay, and the road was up there. Climb up and get going again. So
was that the worst weather you faced?
No.
You were quick. Something worse than that?
Oh yeah, there's been some really bad stuff. Cold, wet. It's usually the wet and the cold. I mean, there's been snow, and then that last pitch. There's been ice on that. We're trying to get up. One year, they had snow, and they decided to have the race anyway, and not to the top, but they stopped it at halfway.
Interesting.
Because the top.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't do that again because people had to ride down.
Yeah.
Riding down is tough.
Oh, very much so.
Brakes altogether.
Yeah.
I used to actually ride up, by the way, before they banned bicycles.
Yeah.
When mountain bikes came, they banned the bicycles because they used to go up and come down too fast. But before that, they didn't care if you went up on a bicycle.
Yeah.
So I used to go up, and then I used to get a ride down from the stagecoach people. Right.
Oh wow.
So I used to, I just ride it myself, and and when you're not trying to go as fast as you can, it's actually a pleasant ride.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty nice.
Yeah. Well, Tom Schiffler from Cadence, he's convinced me to the practice ride. He's like, practice ride, because I biked, mountain bike primarily.
Yeah.
And he said, do the practice ride. At least make it at a tree. Make it so that you're on an exposed rock. Try to get as high as you can.
Sure.
So that's my goal. I'll be there. Are you going to do the practice ride?
I might.
Okay.
I did. No, last year I didn't do the practice ride. I did Newton's Revenge and the other one.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I didn't do the practice ride.
Okay.
So we'll see. Maybe if it's a nice day, I'll do it.
Yeah, so it comes down to weather.
I'm getting fussy in my old age.
Oh, no. I think you've earned the right. Clearly, you've earned the right. Yeah. So you were telling me earlier, how many years? You're over 20? 20 years of the Hillclimb?
No, more than that. I've
really?
been doing it for, I'm saying I've done it more than 20 times. Because I started in my 40s.
Yeah.
And that was like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm 78 now. So,
yeah.
I've only missed a few times.
Yeah.
I was away or something. So that's 30 years I've been doing it.
And then when Newton's came along, you did both?
Last year was the first year I did Newton's.
Okay.
Other years it was just the,
okay.
And then a couple of times, I missed it a few times, so I can't say I did it 30 times. But somewhere in the 20s. 4 years ago I had my knees replaced. But they work pretty good.
I saw that on the other video that you sent me earlier.
Oh, did I
yes.
do that?
Yeah.
So, they work all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how long they're going to last, but so far they're all right.
Okay. Wow. So, okay.
But, it took a while to build it back up again.
Yeah.
You lose a lot of muscle and all that stuff, but, seem to be fine.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. So how many hill climbs on that set of knees right there?
Maybe just 3. Maybe just 3, because when I first did it, I took a couple of years I didn't do it.
Yeah.
So 3 probably.
Yeah. So would you, if you had some, let's say, one of the nice things that you've done the race so many times, and there are people, I agree, in my short time being involved with the race, there are these fanatics They come year in, year out. There's people that have done the race, 5 years, 10 years, so on and so forth. If you were, let's say, this is on my bucket list.
Yep.
Okay, I want to do the hill climb. What advice would you give to somebody doing the hill climb for the first year?
Well, make sure you have the proper gears. I mean, there are people that have their like normal gears, and they go on a someplace at a 12% grade, and they go up for half a mile, and they say they can do it, and so they don't reduce their gears to. I mean, normal human beings need a mountain bike crank in the front. They need a granny gear basically, and you keep the back the same. That's the standard setup these days. But some people try it that aren't ready for it. I mean, a strong rider can do it in a sort of the regular gears, but not too many people can do that.
Right.
So us mortals, have to have some low gears. Yeah. And so that's the main thing. The main thing is, for doing that is the gears. Because just so they try to do it. They'll find some hill at 12% and they'll do a mile, but going up 7 miles, 7.6 miles, it's not the same. Yeah. And then you got the wind factor, and that's a couple gears, at least.
Is there a camaraderie? I mean, you got all these fanatics that are going to go up this. As you guys are going up the hill,
we chat, no, we talk, I mean, you're typically not out of breath.
Okay.
No, so you can talk.
Yeah.
Because you have to stay in an aerobic thing. You can't go anaerobic.
Right.
You only get another 100 yards up the road.
Right.
I mean, the people with, that don't have the right gears, overdressed, I mean, you see them at the bottom, and they're up a mile and they're puking.
Yeah.
So, that would be the main thing. And obviously, just do a lot of riding, ride hills, and there's really not much else. To do. I mean, you know how to ride a bicycle. The clothes you have to wear are obvious. You need a lot less as long as you can keep moving, even in the cold weather. As long as the problem is if you have to stop. I've seen people at the top when the cold that they can't stop shaking. Like that. You get in the wind and the cold, and as long as you've got the energy, still got energy, and you're moving, you're all right.
Yeah.
But
I was watching a video of a guy. He filmed it on his GoPro going up, and as he's crossing the finish line, he's saying, "God, will somebody give me a blanket?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's and you get colder and colder, because as long as you're moving, you're all right. And you might have been walking for a while.
Yeah.
You can really chill out.
Yeah.
You can't. Sometimes I've seen people. You can't stop shaking.
Right.
In the bad weather. And there's quite a bit of bad weather.
Yeah.
Even though it's what looks like a nice day down here, you're in the cloud and the wind's blowing 50 miles an hour or something. And you're wet and cold.
Well,